Hello again, 8th graders. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to talk about problem number 12. That one usually generates some questions about how to proceed. On these types of problems, this one, pay close attention to what's being asked for. It is asking you to work with a geometric sequence and the associated series. That capital G, of course, that's where we're talking about the sum of those terms. If I give you the second term of the sequence is 24. The sixth term is 2048 over 27. I'm also telling you that G sub 3 is less than 0. Oh, that actually gives you a little bit of information there. It tells you, when I'm telling you that it's negative, this tells you that the R, that growth rate, if you will, it must be negative. Okay, so we're going to make a little note about that, okay? So we know whatever this is, it's going to be a negative, okay? We'll figure that out now in just a quick second. So first thing we can do, we could say, well, golly, if I'm starting with the second term of the sequence, if I multiply that times, let's see, hold on, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's got to go up 4 units. So 24 times r power of 4, again, that growth rate, is going to get us to G6, 2048 over 27. Hope that makes sense. G2 to G6, that's going to be 4 steps. So, okay. Yeah, I just want to rewrite my 7. I didn't like it. There we go. All right, I'll take 1/24 on each side. So R sub 4 equals, now when I take this 2048 over 27 times 1/24, like so, this will reduce because 2048 is 2 to the 11th power, and 24 is 2 cubed times 3, you understand? Which, hopefully, you see that and you say, oh yes, I can reduce this by 2 to the 3rd power. So that's going to be now 2 to the 8th power. And yeah, I'll have 2 to the 8th times 1 over 27 times 3 is basically 3 to the 4th. So I've got it right there as exponents. And that's going to be helpful because again, if you wrote this out, if you said, okay, I've got 2 to the 8th, which is 256. If you had that over 81, it's not going to be as obvious what this is going to be when I take the 4th root of this, right? So when I say 4th root, really I should write it like that. But when I write this, so when I have the 4th root, again, the 4th root of r to the 4th is obviously r. 4th root of 2 to the 8th will be 2 squared. 4th root of 3 to the 4th is going to be 3. So as you see, I wind up with a growth rate of 4/3. But wait just a second, because I realized, given that G sub 3 was less than 0, this had to be negative. So when I've reached this conclusion, I need to say r equals negative 4/3. So I'm ready to go ahead and compute because G sub 3 is simply going to equal 24 times negative 4/3. And that will be my answer, negative 32. Okay, so found that part. Now G sub 6, that's going to rely on us finding that first term. Well, that's not too bad because, again, if I know that G sub 1 times that rate, which was negative 4/3, equaled 24, remember that up here? So if that equaled 24, I can just multiply both sides by negative 3/4, right? So times negative 3/4 over here, times negative 3/4 over here, which of course it's just going to cancel those two fractions. Yeah, I've got negative 18 as that first term, you see? So yeah, that's that. And now I can find the geometric series, the associated series here, the big G. That's going to be that formula where we took the negative 18, that's our first term, times 1 minus the r. Now careful here, the r we said was negative 4/3, and that's going to all be to the power of 6, and that's going to be over 1 minus negative 4/3. Okay, so now of course when I have, I'll write this down here, this is G sub 6, okay. My denominator, 1 minus negative 4/3, that's going to equal positive 7/3. I'll write that down here. And then I've got that negative 18 times 1 minus, don't cancel out these negatives, that's a common mistake here. I need to take negative 4/3 to the power of 6 first. And yeah, of course, you'll use a calculator for that. And you'll compute it's 4,096 over, and then 3 to the 6 is 729. Okie dokie. And then, all right, so on that, let's see. I have this, let's see. Well, wait a minute. If I've got negative 18 divided by 7/3, that's going to be times 3/7, isn't it? And then I'm going to multiply that by, oh boy. Actually, let me get rid of that fraction there. I'm going to leave this as negative 3,367 over 729. Again, you can use a calculator for it. It's fine. You know, with this, of course, the 1 is up here. That's 729 over 729. And when I subtract that, I get negative 3,067 over 729. I'm going to multiply that by negative 18 divided by 7/3, which was this, times 3/7, of course. Oh, that's going to be negative 54, of course. And when you go to reduce this, your final answer, once you've canceled away some common factors, and yes, 7 winds up being a common factor of negative 3,367, and it'll knock you down to 962 over 27. And again, and it's positive because of this, you know, negative times negative, of course. Okay, so that's going to be my answer. So you can write. Oops, hold on. Why am I writing that there? Let's write 962 over 27. Alternatively, you could have written, I mean, if you did this with a calculator, you may see it as this. Okay, 35 and 629 thousandths repeating, you know. So, yeah, I mean, some people will have that decimal. If you're using a calculating device in your calculations, that's fine. But your answer should be equivalent to what we had otherwise. Okay. All right. I hope that helps you in your completion of this study guide. And yeah, I will talk to you again later. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Bye-bye.